Imagine this scenario. A girl calls the pizza place to order some pizza. Here's how the conversation goes. Hello, can I order some pizza for a party? Excuse me? You want to order pizza for what? Can you repeat that, please? Pizza for a party. Oh, you mean party. All right. So what do you need on the pizza? Fellow Toastmasters and friends, special guests. The rest of the phone call took about 10 minutes. She had to explain that what she meant when she said capsicum, which is bell pepper, by the way. What she meant when she said onion, which is onion, by the way. What she meant when she said tomato, it did not need to be explained, because somehow people seem to get that tomato means tomato. Of course, she didn't need to explain what red chili powder was. Any ideas? Any guesses?
Red pepper flakes.
Red pepper flakes. That's really what it is. So that's how long it took her to order that pizza. And if you guessed who that girl was.
You.
Yes, and you guessed right. Here I am. This story happened 23 years back when I was new to the country. Here I am speaking in front of who I know are an accomplished group of speakers, knowing and hoping that if I do hear a repeat tonight, that will be meant as an encore. I hope I complete a good speech tonight. I'd like to share with you my story of how I got here from that stage. And the story begins in India, where I was born and raised. I can remember from my middle school years, and that's where I would like to start. I remember when I was in middle school, I used to bring home notes from the teacher to my dad that said, "This girl is very talkative." That's exactly how the notes would read. And of course, like many of you, my dad wasn't surprised either. He knew his daughter. But he did something unusual from what a parent would typically do. When a parent gets a note from a teacher, they try to ask the child to not do that thing. Hey, your teacher sees you as talkative. Can you stop talking so much? But that's not what my dad did. He actually encouraged me to speak more, but to speak in a structured way. And how did he do that? He encouraged me to sign up for speech contests and debate contests. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I found my calling. I could speak for as long as I wanted, as much as I wanted, to a large audience. I had all eyes and ears on me. And this was way back in middle school. The more I started speaking, some awards started coming in at that age, and my confidence started building up. Before I knew it, I started reaching out for leadership opportunities at my class level, school level, even college level. So I served as class captain, school captain, college captain, all through these years. I moved on to work. I was working with the government of India, with the Department of Central Excise. I took on a leadership role in the Employee Morale Committee, and I extended my leadership skills there as well. And I truly that all of this started with my public speaking. If my dad did not introduce me to that forum where I could get my voice out, I really certainly would not have come to that level. So I started taking pride in the way I communicated, in the way I spoke. I had no doubt that people would understand me when I spoke. Moving ahead, a few years later, I married my husband. My husband decided to move to America to pursue his own career goals. And I, being the dutiful wife who loved her husband, who still loves her husband, till death do us apart. We've been married 25 years now at this time. I decided to move with him. Of course, I had to quit my job with pension and benefits with the central government of India. I didn't think twice about it. I came here. I was excited as well to move to a different country. And I had no doubt that I would fit in this culture because I could communicate well in my mind. But that's when these scenarios started happening. Just ordering pizza would be such a hassle. And that's really just one of many such instances that would happen. I could not speak to a neighbor. I could not speak to the store clerk. I could not speak to a hairdresser without me having to repeat myself word after word. It would always be one word or other that I had to repeat. And at some point, you just don't feel like opening up and you lose your confidence. I started going back into a shell. And it so happened I was a stay-at-home mom at that time. I was not allowed to work. I was on a dependent visa because I had followed my husband here on his work permit. I utilized that time to stay at home and teach myself the American way of speech. How did I do it? The only learning tool available at that time was television. I turned the television on with captions on, matching the spoken word to the printed word. I still remember several times that I would keep repeating words to understand proper pronunciation. To give you a few examples, I just mentioned pizza and party. There were several words. Laboratory is laboratory. There are still certain words that I have to get to, correct myself. There are several words like that that are very, very different when we speak in American English. And as a new person to the culture, I found it really hard to blend in. But long story short, I did get there. And I still give myself a pat on the back when I think of a particular job I was hired to several years later, which was to coach native English-speaking call center associates at a corporate call center on how to speak to clients. So coming from a girl who could not order pizza straight to coaching all these people on how to speak was a big honor to me. From then on, I discovered Toastmasters on campus. That took me in a completely new direction, and I've been a Toastmaster since 2011. I am pursuing my educational goals on the side, but I've also served in several leadership roles at club level. I've been a treasurer, I've been a VP of education twice. I served as a president once. I brought the club to the president's distinguished status on all 4 years, of course, working with a team. I had a great team of leaders who felt the same way as I did. And that was the real reason we were able to achieve that status for 4 years in a row. And as you all know, the president's distinguished status is the highest status that a club can get. Moving on from there, I went on to serve as an area director. And I'm very happy to announce that area also became distinguished. And one of the clubs in my area, representatives from one of the clubs in my area is seated right here. And they helped me get on the district's Honor Hall of Fame for helping the area become distinguished. In conclusion, I draw my inspiration from several people, and many of you are in this room. Many of you have inspired me to pursue my own distinguished Toastmaster goals. At this time, I'm pursuing it. My status is an ACB Advanced Communicator Bronze, and I'm an Advanced Leadership Silver. I did also achieve my high performance leadership with this project that I'm about to show you. I'm going to make a reveal. This is my story. This has all pictures about what I just told you. It may be a little small, so feel free to come and take a look at it later. This is a youth leadership business that I started 3 years back. And I applied this towards my high performance leadership credits just recently, and I was awarded my HPL and my ALS as well. We are in our 4th year. We expanded to adults as well. This time, by the end of 2019, I would have trained 150 children and adults on leadership, communication and leadership. Thank you. And I really got here, I have to mention, in between, I started this project following a company layoff. And that's another thing that I think of all the time. Bottom line, I am so glad from where I started to be here speaking to all of you and sharing my story. I personally think that I've worked hard to get here, and I know there is a long way to go, but I'm glad that I'm with a great group of people. and I know I will go where I want to be with all of your support. Thank you.